I also really want to head back to Jerusalem now because we need to speak with Zvika Klein. Zvika is the editor-in-chief of the Jerusalem Post. Boy, you've been busy. You are in Jerusalem now, and now that we have some of the details, and really, as a layperson, I look at the details that have been released since May of Biden's initial proposal and over the last few days. They don't look all that different. But what stands out to you in this deal?
So, good evening. I think that most of the details, as you know, we heard from President Biden and from others, are very similar. I mean, there are small nuances. For instance, just in the past few hours, the Israeli Prime Minister's office kind of released some sort of background information saying that at the last second, Hamas asked for certain details to be changed regarding the Philadelphia corridor, basically meaning the border between the Gaza Strip and Egypt, which is a very strategic area where Israel, took over because of the amount of ammunition that was brought into Gaza through Egypt, and it wasn't being monitored.
Interesting. Can you give us, we are so far away, although people are certainly connected with what is happening there, a sense of how you think Israel has changed over the last 15 months?
Wow. I think both, I think it's speaking to you in Canada, I think both Israel has changed, and I think the Jewish people around the world have changed, definitely in Canada. Israelis, we had a period of being very united and very kind of close to each other, regardless of political opinions. And then now it's kind of like a roller coaster because people are for this deal or against it. Obviously, everyone wants to see the hostages return. There are those that are kind of worried that release of all these, prisoners, people who killed, Palestinians who killed Israelis will just be released. So it's really a roller coaster of emotions, of your stomach hurting and your head wanting something to happen, but your stomach says otherwise. I think a sense of there was a sense of insecurity. I feel like now in the past few months, Israelis feel a bit more pride, to be Israeli and feel like they earned respect. But I think many families just are yearning for this to end. Not only the families of the hostages, the amount of Israelis who are, in reserve duty, who have regular jobs, families just want to go home and to continue with their normal, regular lives.
It's all anybody ever wants, right? That your kids go to school and that they come back okay. And that's been so elusive in that region is just one of the heartbreaks of the region. I'm wondering.
I would say that, except for the extremes, and the extremes unfortunately are a lot louder than the vast majority that wants this normal life. And let's hope that these extremes will be eliminated as possible.
Yeah, extremes. There are extremes in every society. I'm curious, Zvika, as we watch, so I know there's a lot of details we don't know yet in terms of the precise timing. But for you, what are you watching for next? What will be your barometer of this is working, this is not working? I'm not sure how we read what happens in the next 6 months. 6 weeks, sorry.
Right. So 100% right. So, I mean, first of all, the goal would be for these 6 weeks to go to end safely while nobody, does anything against the treaty. But there's so many things that could go wrong, and hopefully they don't. And this is only the first phase, as you mentioned, at the beginning of this report. So, I mean, we're just talking now about 33 hostages out of 98. So there's still like a long way to go, and hoping that we could actually get to the second. There are many Israeli politicians, as one of your reporters mentioned, that want the IDF to return to fight right after this, even though diplomatically it seems like it's almost impossible for Israel to actually do that. And also the Israeli government has to approve this deal as a democratic country, and there are those who are against it. I think possibly, there may be those in the opposition that would help the government, pass this, but there's also a very fragile political situation going on.
Indeed. Zvika, thank you very, very much. I know you're going to be writing all night long, but I'm sure we will talk. Yeah, you will. We'll be talking again. That's Zvika Klein, the editor-in-chief of the Jerusalem Post.